Bifta RF is a lightweight off-road recreational vehicle that is styled after a car called the Myers-Manx. It's basically a car derived from the Volkswagen Beetle. Now the Bifta RF came from the Beach Bum DLC back in November of 2013 and is pretty fairly priced at only $75,000. The Bifta RF has a sleek but subtle styling that goes along with the buggy image very nicely. So how does a sleek styled buggy handle the off-road? Well, the Bifta feels pretty planted on light duty off-roading. Now on more bumpy roads it tends to be a little bit bouncy due to the limited amount of suspension travel. The rear end can randomly kick out when hitting a bump in the road, making this car sometimes unpredictable, but the good thing is that it's very easy to correct, and this car is pretty fast for an off-road car and handles off-road pretty nicely for what it is. Now, unlike most off-road cars in GTA 5, the on-road handling of this car is still pretty good. The car still feels very light and planted on the road. It has a good amount of grip, and even when it does lose traction and oversteers, the oversteers are very easy to correct and feels very predictable. Overall, this car has a good balance of on-road and off-road performance. But now it's time to see what the on-road and off-road performance lays down at the track. Let's head to the dirt track, boys. The Bifta gonna make a pass here, revving up, spinning the tires, launches the big back tires, trying to fight for traction over the jump. Let's see how this does into turn 1. Dives in, oh, pretty sharp through there. Now into turn 3, pretty flat, a little bit of understeer, not too bad. Into the turn 4, wow, it just dived into that turn. This car feels so flat around these corners. Let's see how it does. The bump section, oh, a little bit of oversteer, corrected pretty easily. See how it does on this jump. It's pretty light. Ooh, controls that very well. Now back on its feet, ready to go onto the dip. Takes the outside lane. Now into the inside lane, high on the bank of the inside lane. Now, ooh, goes really high on that. It's probably going to cost some time. Ooh, up on 2 wheels, saves it, nearly goes through the jump. This car is going to fly because it is just so freaking light. Lands it flat. Now a little bit of understeer here. Oh, into oversteer. Ooh, this car is pretty predictable even when it does lose traction. But now onto this, goes pretty high on that bank onto the straightaway, no oversteer. Oh, that was perfect amount of understeer and oversteer onto the straight, through the dip, on the brakes hard. It does not take much to slow this thing down. Pretty medium in that bank. Oh, oversteer, corrects it, gets back on its feet now through the bumps. Oh, slaps the chassis pretty hard and around the last turn to the finish line. Oh, oversteered and across the line at 1 minute and 25 seconds. Overall, the Bifta is a perfect combination between on-road performance and off-road performance. Now, I've come up with a little bit of a segment at each end of my further reviews called the Doug score. Now, if you're familiar with Doug DeMuro, I kind of did copy him with his Doug score, but this is going to be a Doug score, pretty much the same thing. It's going to be ranked in 4 categories: handling, acceleration, usability, customizability, and coolness. Now, each of these will be ranked 1 through 10, and I'll explain each one really quick. So handling, obviously how well does the car handle. Acceleration, how well does it feel fast. Usability, this is going to be like, would you take this car on missions? Would you want to drive it almost every day? It's pretty much the equivalent to daily driver kind of thing, but for GTA 5. Customizability, that's pretty obvious, how much can you customize it. And coolness, how cool is it? So let's give this Bifta a Doug score really quick. Alright, so for handling, the Bifta is pretty good on-road and pretty good off-road, but it's limited to suspension travel and lacks a little bit of on-road grip, and you can feel that. It earns a solid 7 out of 10. For acceleration, it's pretty quick, but it kind of dies up at the top since it's pretty lightweight, doesn't have that big of an engine, so it gets a 6 out of 10. Usability, this is where the Bifta gets hit hard. Even though it's pretty quick to go, it doesn't have any doors, no windows, it can only see 2 people, so if you're going to take it on missions, you can only hold 2 people, and you're not very well protected, it gets a pretty low 3. Now, customizability, I don't know if there's a glitch right now with mine, but I could not take mine into the Los Santos Customs, even though you can see it's customized, but I remember you can customize pretty much a lot with this. It earns a solid 7. Now, coolness, I know that this car came out 4 years ago, and it's really not talked about anymore, but I still love this car. It's my first car that I ever really bought. It's just, I think it's a pretty cool, fun car to drive. It earned a solid 7. So that brings the Bifta to a dupe score of 29 out of 50. I have no clue what this means, but with further reviews, we'll see. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Go check out my other reviews if you like this video. Thank you. I'll see you in the next one.